Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining our webinar today. We're going to give just a couple more minutes. We've still got some people that are coming into the meeting, so we're going to give a couple minutes just before we get started, but welcome. Okay, we'll go ahead and get our introductions out of the way. It looks like most everyone that has registered, several people are here, so we're going to go ahead and get started. To start off with, just again, thank you for coming to our webinar today on event day. Our info session, I'm sorry, on event day. So event day, we're really excited about. Before we get into all of the details of that, just want to introduce myself. I'm Kim Robertson, Director of Operations and Business Development here at KIDaccount. I'm also a former teacher, elementary and middle school. So I've kind of been at both of those levels and know how important those event day management tools are and how much chaos happens inside of your buildings on those days. We also have on the line with us today, or on the call with us, Amanda Brasnay. She is our sales manager, and she is also a former high school teacher. So she has the experience at that level. And then we also have Jennifer Marler, who is our sales assistant, and she was a former school secretary. So lots of experience here today from inside of the buildings. And so if you have questions, make sure that you feel free to ask those in the chat. You can post those in the chat anytime. Amanda and Jennifer will be monitoring that chat and able to help answer those questions as well. If you don't mind, inside the chat, if you would go ahead and introduce yourself and what school you're from, that would be great. And we'll go ahead and get started. I'm going to share my screen and we'll get started with our info session to show you how to use our event day. Okay, so we are really excited about this new feature of event day. And for all of our current customers, we are offering a free pilot for all of you through the end of this school year, through July. And basically, event day is going to replace our party day. So some of you have probably been using our party day, and it's been a nice feature, but pretty basic. We have really upgraded a lot of the features inside of our party day. So we're going to go through those upgrades and how to use those. Basically, it's going to give you a simple online registration that's going to be completed by your visitor. So it's going to take all that workload off of you. If you've been using our party day currently, you've been having to manually enter all of those, all of the people who are coming into your building, all of your registrants. Now they're going to be able to do that themselves. There's a simple link you're going to be able to provide and a secure passcode, and I will show you how to do that. And then the system is going to scan them against the National Sex Offense Registry. And then you can pre-print your visitor badges as you can now, but we've made some upgrades to that printing process as well, and we'll go through all of those upgrades. So we're excited to be able to offer all of this to you. And most of you have it on your sites right now. If you find that you don't have it on your site, we are in the process of getting everybody updated, and everybody should be updated by Monday, and you would have that on your site if you don't currently have it today. But basically where you're going to find that is through the sign in and out. And so you're being familiar with our system. If you go to the sign in and out button, now you're going to see a new icon here for event day. You'll just simply click on the event day, and this is where you're going to be creating any parties or events. So you might have classroom parties, you might be having some events where visitors are coming on campus, maybe for a Veterans Day or Grandparents Day, something like that, that isn't necessarily inside of classrooms. And so that's why we've kind of upgraded from just classroom parties to full events to help you manage all of those. If you do have events already in your system, you're now going to see that you can archive those. So that's one of the upgrades that you have, is the archive button. That's something that's been highly requested, and so now you have it. You're able to get those off of your screen. A lot of you have a lot of parties in there, and so now you can archive those. And it doesn't delete your data. It's going to keep them there in your archived events, and then that way you can still get back to them if you need to for previous data. So to start an event, you're going to click on the Create Event button, and you're going to type in the name of your event and the date that that event is going to occur. And once you click that Create Event button, that event's going to show up on this list. And then to set up all of your settings, you're going to go to the View and Edit Event button. What will auto-populate is going to be your event name, the event date that you set. You're going to have some other options to be able to update. So I'm going to give you a closer look at that here. You're going to be able to decide when your event registration ends. So on this line right here, if you want your visitors, so this one is set up for Valentine's Day. And if you want your visitors to be able to register up until 10:30 a.m. or 10:30 p.m. the day before your party, let's say your party's actually on the 15th, or whenever it might be, you can set up your date and time of when you want them to be able to register through. And once you set that registration end date, it's going to shut that party down where the passcode will no longer work for them. So you can decide that. You will also set a secure event passcode. So you're going to select the passcode that you want to give to your parents. It can be any combination of letters and numbers. You get to decide how simple or how complex you want that to be. Just remember, you are giving this to the parents to be able to register. You're going to give them the link, which is auto-populated below, and then you'll give them the event passcode that you set. Each of your events does need a unique passcode. So you don't want to give the same passcode to 2 events because that's going to basically register them for that same event. It won't let you assign that same passcode. Then you can add a custom message. So this is really great. So you can, you might have a lot of information that you want to give to your parents here. You might have just a simple reminder to bring their ID, but you can customize this registration completion message. And whatever you type in there, once your parents are registered, they're going to say you have been registered successfully, and then they're going to see your message for that. The next thing that you have to choose from, it has allow visitor to select the staff or teacher. And that there's a note underneath it that says use if event is not with the student's homeroom teacher. So automatically what KIDaccount is going to do, we already have your homeroom teachers in place if you're in elementary school. If you're not and you don't have elementary and you don't have homeroom teachers, then there wouldn't be any homeroom teachers to select from anyway. But if this is an event that is going to be in the homeroom teacher's classroom, leave this unchecked because you don't need your visitors to select what teacher's classroom they're going to. If you are having an event that's going to be just a few of your teachers, maybe it's not in their typical homeroom teacher's classroom, then you can allow them to select whatever staff member their student is going to be associated with. So totally up to you. This is going to give them a drop-down list of the teachers that are available to select from, all of your homeroom teachers. But if you don't select it, it's going to automatically populate that inside of KIDaccount. You can collect the parent email if you want to. So if you would like to have their parent email just for communication purposes, you can collect that parent email from here. And then you can quickly copy this link as well. So again, this link and this password is the information that your parents need to be able to register. Once you're finished completing all of this, you're going to click Update Event. If you ever go back in and you make any changes, make sure that you click Update Event because that Update Event is what's going to make those changes available for all of your registrants. All right. Now, for your parents, so once you have that set up and you give them the link and you give them the passcode, your attendees will be able to go there and register. So when they go to the link, they're going to see a page that looks like this. It's going to ask them to enter that event code. They're going to type in that event code that you gave them. They're going to put in, it's going to ask them for the name and state that appear on their government issued ID. So their first name, their last name, what state is their government ID. And then if you have selected for their email address is going to show up. If you did not select that, that's going to be blank. They're just going to put in their name. They're going to put in their student's name, and it does give them the ability to type in a note to you so that if they did need to communicate some information to you, like I'm going to need some help to the classroom because I'm bringing a bunch of cupcakes or something like that, they could enter that note, or maybe someone needs help because maybe they need a wheelchair to get to the classroom, something like that. They can enter that information. Once they click sign up, they're going to see that message from you that they're registered and then any details and information. Back on your page, once you go into that event, what you're going to see is you're going to see a flashing red light. And I'll show you this on a live site here in just a second, but you're going to see this pending registrations button is going to start flashing for you. And that's going to let you know that you have people that are registered for the event, because you're going to be able to go in and preview those before it doesn't just automatically. You're going to be able to approve or deny those coming into your building. On that screen, whenever, and I think right now I'm just going to go ahead and pull over the live site so you can see what that actually looks like. Just pull that onto the screen for you. Can you see my other tab here? Or are you still seeing my presentation? Jennifer, Amanda?
We can see the new tab.
Okay, great. Just making sure before I went further. So this is a live site here. I'm going to go ahead and go into the Valentine party, and you can see that I have 11 pending registrations. So this is what you're going to see on your site whenever those registrations start coming through. This light's going to be flashing here. This button's going to be flashing for you. This is where you can go in and you can check to make sure that everybody that has registered, you actually are approving them to come into your building. And so at a very quick glance, basically you have the approve or deny columns, you have the parent name column, you have the contacts. So this is going to show you the contacts that are listed in KIDaccount as people who are registered with that student. So you don't have to go and check and make sure that this is somebody who's allowed to be there for the student. Back in your SIS, it's going to be right here in KIDaccount for you. If you collected parent email address, it's going to be here. If the parent typed in a note, you can click here to view their note. This one's will need assistance getting cupcakes to the classroom. It's going to have the student name, the homeroom teacher's name that's auto-populated, and their state, and it's going to let you know if there was a student match or not. So if somebody does put in a name that does not, a student name that does not match, because we all know everybody has those students that parents call them by a nickname or shortened version of their name. So this one right here with the red X, what this tells us is that this student is not registered in your school. Well, Jake actually is. It's just that in our SIS, Jake is Jacob. And so we know that, oh, the parent just put in Jake instead of Jacob. We can edit that so that it'll connect that homeroom teacher for us. So we're going to edit that, and we're going to select Jacob Jones here from the drop-down list. And so that will bring that information over. So now we have the student match here. The other thing that you can do is check the contacts. So if you are wondering, if you're like, Kendra Aiden, Ronald Weasley, I don't recognize that name. You can go through and you can check each one. You're going to be able to see the contacts that are listed. If someone is listed in red, just like if you use our car line or visitor management system, that is your banned contacts, people who are not allowed to have access to the student. So we can see that Ronald Weasley is actually a banned contact here. You can just go ahead and deny him, so it's not going to put him on your list of people who are allowed to come in. And you can go ahead and deny him, and now he's gone out of there. So he won't be on your list anymore. Once you've verified the rest of them, and you can check and just make sure that, okay, Jennifer Bidwell is on this student contact list. And so it's going to show you that information right here. So it's just to verify that that person is allowed to be in your building and allowed to have access to that student. You can just simply select all once you've checked through all of these, or you could do them one at a time and approve them. And then just approve those, and that's going to bring those over to your approval page. So, or to your actual party page. So now what we're going to see is everybody that has registered for the party that you have also approved. It is not going to show you the people who you did not approve on here, but you can view your unapproved visitors here and change that status at any time if you need to. So from here, on the day of your event, you can sign your people in whenever they come in through this button right here, or you can deny their entry. I also wanted to show you that it does run them through the sex offender check. And so if you do see view results for someone, you can click here and you can verify if this is the person that's on the list or not, if this is the person that's in your building. If someone has the same name within your state on that sex offense registry, it is going to go ahead and give you all of those hits. And so you might have some false positives. So you always want to check that and make sure that it is the same person that is standing in front of you, if it is or if it isn't. So, but that would be there. You can verify that information ahead of time if you would like to. And so that's basically how that works with being able to bring your visitors over and approve them. One of the really great features of this as well is that now you can also print your badges. a couple of different ways. So you can print them by your visitor's last name. So depending on how you have your visitors come in, because what we know is that the day of the event gets really hectic with getting your visitors in the door. You've already pre-ran them through a scan before the party ever starts, day before the party or morning of the party. You could come in here and you could print all of these badges. And so if you want to bring your visitors in by last name, maybe you have 3 or 4 tables set up, you know, A to F, G to H, whatever you want to put in there. However you want to set that up, you could print your visitor badges by last name and have them go to their table and get their badge. You could even have somebody with the screen pulled up that as they give them the badge, they can click sign in. And then if they have somebody that is with the results that shows up, we can send them, you know, to the front, back up to the office, or, you know, to be checked.
Can we
that.
have a request that you kind of blow your page up a little bit so they can read it a little bit better?
Let me see. Is that easier to read?
Yeah, that looks good. Thank you.
Okay, absolutely. Okay, so you can print them by the last name. The other option that you have is you can also print them by teacher. So you could go in here and you could select a specific teacher that you want to print those badges, and you can submit that, and now you can print the batch of students. So there were 3 students registered for that teacher, so those 3 badges would print all together. Or if there's 20 of them, they're going to print all together. So now you can organize them by teacher as well. So you can print your badges by teacher's last name, or you can print them by your visitor's last name. And so that is, those are some of the big improvements that we have to the system right now. Again, if you did have those unapproved visitors, you can go back here at any point in time and you can reapprove those if you have denied them entry. The other thing you can do, if a visitor does not pre-register ahead of time and shows up, you can still manually add your visitor. So if you've been using our party day, you've had to manually add your visitors. So from here, you can still manually add your visitors on the day of the event, or you also have the option, and I will just show you that. I'm going to go back to my slideshow here to show you how you can have them register on site. So some of our schools host an on-site registration where they have the visitors come in on one day, or they might give them a week time span. Hey, you need to come in and register for parties, and so that they can scan their IDs, have their pictures taken. You can do that as well. So I'm going to jump back over to my presentation for that part to show you that. It's a little bit easier than trying to show you multiple screens. But basically, if you're going to have an on-site registration, or if the day of the event you want them to go ahead and go through that registration, maybe they didn't register ahead of time, you can have your visitor. So this is on the kiosk that they would normally sign in from with our visitor management system. So if you're not using our visitor management system, you can have a kiosk sitting out for your visitors to register with. And so basically they can go to the event day on the kiosk. It could be an iPad is what we're recommending right now, but some of you are using the system with the Chromebook out in front. But they're going to go to that event day, sign in and out. They're going to find the events that are available. So anything that is in there that has a future date for registration, they're going to be able to select that event, and then it'll run them through just like our visitor management does. It takes a picture of them, and then you'll be able to scan their ID. So if you have our new system with the iPad, they'll just set their ID right in the shelf and it scans it. The 2D scanner, they would hold it in front of the 2D scanner. Or if you are still doing the manual entries with the older system of the dip license scanner, you can also dip that license scanner at that point in time to run them through that sex offense registry as well. So those are your options. You can have them register ahead of time now online. You can have a registration day ahead of time where you can manually enter your visitors. So it's very flexible to fit whatever you might need. If you are manually entering on the day of, you can just simply click the print badge beside their name, so you can print one badge at a time. So you don't have to batch print. You can batch print by last name or by teacher, but you don't have to. You can print individually if you need to do that in those circumstances. Okay, so those are our different ways to print. The other thing that I wanted to point out is that we do also have the ability to export to a CSV. So you can print from this. So you can click the export to CSV. It's going to take it over to a spreadsheet for you so you can sort it in whatever way you need to sort it by. If you wanted to sort it by the student's name, by the teacher's name, or by the visitor's name, you have that ability to do that within that CSV and be able to print those lists however you see fit. So if you do have 4 different tables for check-in, you could print those 4 different lists and give them specific lists, give those the helpers that are checking visitors in to speed that process up. You could give them those lists, or you could simply have them logged into KIDaccount to be able to sign them in as they come. So that is, this is next thing is if we do print the badges individually, this is what they look like. If your visitors do come in to take their picture for a pre-registration, the picture will also be on there. But if they're registering online, there is no picture on the badge. But these are sticker badges that print from a simple Dymo printer that your visitors can wear around to show that they have been registered through the office and that they've been checked in through the office. And then whenever they do go to check out, if you are using our system with the iPad or the 2D scanner, they can scan that barcode to scan back out of the building and it'll sign them out of the building. Most of our schools do also collect that visitor badge back just so that they don't have those floating around so somebody doesn't see them in the building and think that they're there, you know, that they've been pre-approved on a different day. But that is a personal, that's up to your individual policies, basically. So that is our event day. What questions do you have? We can use the chat, or Amanda, you can even unmute people, I believe, to ask questions verbally. Are there any questions right now about, are we seeing any in the chat right now?
None in the chat, and I do not have an ability to be able to unmute the.
Okay. All right, sorry, I think that's probably just me, but I don't think I can do it while I'm sharing. So I do want to go, I'll go ahead and go to the next piece then and just talk about this real quick. So you do have the free pilot through the end of this school year. So whether that ends for you in June or July, whatever, if you're doing summer school, you can use it through summer school. Your 25-26 school year pricing for our current customers is $400 for the year. And so if your site has not been updated with the latest features yet, if it is updated, you can start using it today. You can go in there and you can play around with it and you can create some events today. If it has not been updated yet, if you see that you don't have that event day button on that sign in and out, then if you would please contact us at customerservice@kidaccount.com. We will have you updated by Monday for sure. R&D is in the process of getting everybody updated to the latest features right now. Some of you have it and some of you don't have it quite on your site yet. So if you don't, and you don't see that by tomorrow, go ahead and shoot us an email at customer service just to make sure that that doesn't get overlooked for you. Make sure that we get that taken care of for you. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing. And then that way, if someone does have a question that they would like to ask verbally, if you just want to click that raise your hand button, I can unmute you from there, or you can ask a question in the chat. I see a question. Do we have access to a copy of this presentation? I will send that out along with the recording of this presentation as well. So we'll send out the recording and I'll also send out the slideshow so that you'll be able to refer to that for a training guide.
Betsy had a question about what our visitor management system was, or what VMS was.
Okay, yep, our visitor management system manages all of your visitors in and out of your building. It runs all your visitors through a national sex offense screening, and you can print the badges, kind of like what you saw here for the event day. It also prints them for your visitors on the day. It's time and date stamped with their picture. They scan their driver's license, and it runs them through that national sex offense screening. In addition to that, our visitor management system also includes student in and out. So you can check your students in and out through that. It includes our staff in and out. So if you want your staff to sign in and out whenever they come on campus or leave campus, or if you have staff that move from one campus to the next, you can keep track of when they are on your various campuses. We also have programs. So that's for programs those are for students, like maybe your high school students leave the high school and go to another campus. They could sign out at the high school, sign in at the other building. And that does also have the ability to, if they don't show up in a appropriate amount of time, then it will send a text alert to let you know that that student hasn't shown up. And then we also have volunteer as part of our visitor management system. Part of our student check-in and out is that if someone tries to check a student out and they are a banned contact, someone who's not allowed to have access, when you deny that, whenever they try to check that student out, it is going to send an alert to whoever you have in the system, school resource officer, administrator, letting them know that, hey, this person is not allowed to pick up the student, is here trying to pick them up. So if they are trying to sign a student out, it will alert you to that as well. Any other questions? And if there's anything in particular, so I know the question about the visitor management and you would like to see a further demo, Amanda, would you mind to put your email address in the chat? And you guys can reach out to Amanda and she will get you scheduled with a demo for any of our other pieces of our product line. We do have car line management, office to classroom communication that manages your dismissal changes. We also have hall pass management. And so if you're a secondary school looking for a hall pass solution, we have that hall pass management. We have emergency drills and reunification as well. Bus and transportation and after school are also part of our dismissal suite. So if you do want a demo of something else besides what you've seen here today, want to look at any other pieces of the product line, like I said, you can email Amanda, or you can even put it in the chat here and she'll reach out to you. Put your information in here and she'll reach out to you. Okay, thank you everyone for attending, and we're looking forward to working with you even further. Have a great day.